Hi, I'm Susanna and this is my 2024 reading journal. As we're halfway through the year, I thought I'd update you on what my reading journal is looking like at this point. So these are my reading goals. My goal is to read 50 books. I've read 41 at the moment, so I'm definitely hitting that goal. Not sure if I want to update it, but I'll most likely read somewhere between 70 to 80 books this year. My goal was also to fill a book bingo. We'll see how I'm doing once I get to that spread. I haven't yet annotated a book, but I'll do that in July, which is when I take part in Jane Austen July. I also wanted to read more library books. I've read one so far, not the greatest score, but I've been reading my physical TBR, so I'm not too worried about that. I've reviewed most of the books I've read on Instagram and Goodreads, and I haven't yet read any ebooks from my Kindle app. My social media goals was to post consistently on Instagram, which I've done. I've also started a blog and made long videos on YouTube, and I've also done 1 month of reels on Instagram, so my social media goals are going well. I've also added writing goals here. I've read the 3rd draft and I'm in the middle of revising the 4th draft of my project Prehistory. I've also revised 2 short stories in April and I'm working on publishing one of them in August, so my writing goals are on track as well. Here's a selfie of the books I read. One bookshelf is almost full already. I have read 5-star books, I just haven't yet filled the spread. My to be read spread is looking good. I've already read most of these and my goal isn't even to read all of them this year. I don't mind if I read some of them next year. I haven't really kept up with what new releases are coming out, so this spread is looking pretty empty. Wishlist I have elsewhere, so I haven't filled it here. And then there's the book bingo. Again, I'm doing pretty well. I've read a memoir / biography, graphic novel, book with BIPOC representation, book with non-human characters, less than 200 pages, debut novel, book involving food, a DNF, ancient retelling, book with a map, and classic. I've actually read more. For example, I've read an indie romance, but I would want to use one book only once, and I haven't decided whether I want to use that book for the indie book slot or the romance book slot. I've also read a banned book, but that was a graphic novel, and books with one-word title, but they were an ancient retelling and a book with BIPOC representation. I've also read books with LGBT plus representation, but they weren't main characters, so that doesn't count. Anyway, I still need to read a book with an animal in the title or the cover, ebook, romance, red cover, disability representation. I need to annotate a book, indie book, LGBT plus representation first in a series, sci-fi, a banned book, middle grade book, a fantasy book, and a book with one-word title. A to C challenge I've started, but I haven't written a pretty version of this page, and Book Voyage is also looking pretty sparse. Here's the challenges, readathons, and buddy reads spread with my plans for Jane Austen July. You can watch my video where I talk more about my plans for each of these challenges. Here's the book bracket so far. Lessons in Chemistry is currently in lead. And then come the monthly spreads. Hopefuls, reading logs, book purchases, and wrap-ups. I have more thoughts on some months than on others. Also, I've read more books on some months than on others. For example, April, I didn't have very many hopefuls. And here we are in June. I haven't yet filled the June wrap-up page. And that's my reading stats for the first 5 months. I still need to add in June. And then follow the reviews of all the books I read. I've written quite a bit for some books and not so much for others. I usually write more for novels as I'm writing down my predictions for what's going to happen next. Non-fiction books barely get any notes, although I did write down the contents of Aristotle's Poetics, so I can easily reference them later. Anyway, at the time of filming this, I had read 41 books. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments so I know to make more of this type of content in the future, and I'll see you in my next video.